It'd be hard for her to ask me to wake my mom up if she's not feeling well. The bell continued to ring at regular intervals. If someone didn't answer after you rang the bell so much, you'd normally give up and go home, wouldn't you? Without removing the chain, I opened the door slightly and peered out at the visitor. A chill ran down my spine. I knew it. Somewhere deep inside, I'd prepared for this moment. I had tried to escape by imagining it was the easiest person to deal with, one of my mom's friends.
Good evening.
Rena. There shouldn't be any reason for Rena to come over at this hour. The timing also made me feel uneasy. Because it was just as I was about to ask Oyashiro-sama about Rena. I wish I could have chalked this up to mere coincidence. But those unsettling words from Mion several days ago echoed back to me.
There's nothing this old man doesn't know.
Are you alone, Rena?
Yeah.
It seemed that Mion wasn't with her. But that didn't change the situation at all. Why did you come here?
Hey, Keiichi-kun, I'd like you to open the door so we can talk. Can I come inside, I wonder?
It was true that speaking through a chained door wasn't the right way to talk to a classmate. But at my house, the chain has to be on at night. Don't worry about it.
Then it can't be helped, I guess.
Rena looked at the ground sadly. But she kept smiling at least, and her effort to keep that smile was quite pitiful. Even though she was tugging at my heartstrings, I didn't lower my guard. As long as I stayed like this, even if it made my heart ache, my life wasn't in danger. What I really feared, more than the possibility that hoodlums would assault me if I removed the chain, was trusting Rena enough to remove the chain and having my friendship betrayed. As long as the chain wasn't unlatched, even if it made my heart ache, I wouldn't have to deal with being betrayed by Rena. Since it didn't seem like I'd removed the chain from her silent urging, she appeared to give up on trying just to get into the entranceway.
Have you eaten yet, Keiichi-kun?
No, I haven't eaten. Rena appeared to be in good spirits, and she was offering such a delicious-sounding dinner. The stress evaporated from my gut, and hunger reared its voracious head. At the same time, my wariness of Rena suddenly dwindled. Rena did say she was alone. Shouldn't be a problem letting her inside, though the possibility that it was laced with poison still hadn't been ruled out. At that moment, a cold chill ran down my spine once again. I couldn't understand why such a sensation had occurred just then. But the voice inside me was sounding the alarm. This happy Rena speaking of this charming dinner was dependent on one premise. And that premise was that tonight, dinner hadn't been made at my house, meaning it was under the assumption that my mom, who should be making it, wasn't here. At any normal household, 7 o'clock would be around the middle of dinner time. If my mom were here, we'd be eating dinner around this time as well. The fact that she brought over all the makings of a meal at this time was inherently strange. Unless she knew. Rena. Did she know that my parents weren't home? But there was also the chance that this was a bluff. I had turned on the lights and a bunch of other stuff to make it seem like my parents were here. There was a chance that Rena was unsure if my parents were home. But I had to wonder. The laundry, the garage, the evening paper. There were plenty of signs of them being hastily tidied up. It was hard to say that Rena didn't have a chance to determine if my parents were here or not. But there was no reason for me to confess that right now. I should try holding on to that fact for as long as I could. First of all, the chain was still latched. As long as I didn't take it off, Rena wouldn't be able to do anything to me. I'm quite grateful, but dinner will be ready pretty soon.
Huh? Is that so? Is that so?
I know you went through all the effort and everything, but, well... Unable to think of a good way to refuse, my words trailed off weakly.
But some of this could work as side dishes, I think.
I'm sorry, we have more than enough already. My mom always makes quite a few sides. So...
Huh? You have side dishes?
With a smile that bordered on a cringe, I dodged her questions apologetically. But the feeling I tried to ignore began creeping up my back again. I spoke as if my mom was setting down dinner right now, but it didn't mesh well with what Rena was saying. Rena was talking as if she was aware of some obvious fact. And that, I was aware of it as well.
So Keiichi-kun can cook. What did you make, I wonder?
No, well, it's not that I... Rena had assumed out of nowhere that I had made the dishes. No, not so much that I'd made them, but rather that my mom hadn't.
Did you really make them? The side dishes? Did you, Keiichi-kun?
It wasn't me who made them. My mom did. No, she's making them. Right now. So, you see, I'm sorry, but I can't eat what you brought. Rena fell silent at that moment. At that moment, I felt that the light had suddenly disappeared from her eyes.
How about I try guessing what Keiichi-kun's dinner will be?
It doesn't matter what I'm gonna eat.
Let's see.
The conversation might appear natural at first glance, but Rena was firmly in control. It felt like I was being interrogated.
Your dinner. I wonder, is it something that can be made with just hot water?
Hey now, stop with the insults. I can't believe you'd belittle my mom's extravagant dinner like that. Tickets sold out, full capacity already. It's that amazing. I tried my best to put on a strong front, but I couldn't grip my teeth quite right. So instead I looked like someone who was borderline hysterical. But Rena showed no reaction whatsoever, even to that silliness.
Keiichi-kun? Did your mother really leave you dinner?
No, you see, she didn't leave me dinner. She's making it right now. It's almost time for dinner. Rena had taken that assertion of mine, that my mother was home and making dinner right now, and was completely ignoring it. I could tell that the more I panicked, the colder Rena became.
Hey, Keiichi-kun.
At that moment, an uncomfortable chill crept in from the gap in the doorway.
Is your mom home, I wonder?
I couldn't keep up this charade anymore. Rena. She knew full well that my parents weren't home. But I'd come too far to admit that now. Anyway, my parents were here and we'd be having dinner soon. That was the situation I'd concocted. So I answered. I told her she was here. She's here, of course. I could feel the humidity drying out from the surrounding air. Rena's eyes were becoming even more frigid, piercing me with their gelid glare.
Why?
Huh? What do you mean? I tried acting casual, but that facade was torn off me the instant I looked into Rena's eyes. That look. It informed me of Rena's response faster than she could open her mouth.
Why have you been lying to me, I wonder?
I'm not lying.
That's a lie, isn't it?
It's not a lie.
Lies!
Rena's outburst sent a jolt surging through my body. Rena and I were still separated by what few inches that slightly ajar but still chained door could afford. But despite that, I was still being cornered. My house, which I'd considered a safe haven until now, had become more like a dark alleyway where no one could save me.
Shall I guess your dinner, Keiichi-kun? Let's see.
I knew now that Rena had already known that my parents would not be here tonight. But it was still so strange that it had come to this. Even if she somehow knew that my parents weren't home, there was no way she should be able to guess what I'd be eating tonight. But Rena said she'd guess. How could she guess it? How could she know it was instant...
Cup noodles. That's right, isn't it?
that I was gonna eat... Wait, the cooking repertoire of a man who can't do housework is probably nothing but cup noodles after all. Looking at this statistically, it was the most probable answer. That didn't mean she was guessing.
I don't think you'll be full with just noodles. I think having rice and stuff will definitely hit the spot.
Calm down, Keiichi Maibara. This was just coincidence. Rena was just reading certain tells of mine. So the fact that she was inferring what I was thinking alarmed me. But it wasn't as if she was actually reading my mind. If it was being read, then she was a demon. No, not a demon. Things like that, they couldn't possibly exist.
Do you like them?
Do you mean noodles?
No.
Rena indicated that the point my answer was addressing was wrong. Her rebuttal was so short that I momentarily didn't understand the words Rena had spoken. Sorry, Rena. What did you say just now?
Huh? About what?
Just now. You asked me if there was something that I liked, didn't you? It wasn't long before I regretted how carelessly I'd pushed forward with that question. It was such a simple answer. That was why I wasn't able to comprehend it.
Pork bone and ginger flavor.
I wonder how I appeared in the moments my mind went completely blank until the moment I was able to recover. As my field of view began to distort, slowly swirling in a counterclockwise direction, I lost all sense of balance. Why do you know that? I didn't even deny it. That was the type of frenzied state I was in. How could Rena know even this? Not even caring as I mashed my head against the door, I fixated my gaze on Rena. But she didn't even flinch when she saw me do that. I certainly did buy them. I bought a bunch at once. I bought a whole case. How could you know that?
Why? I wonder. Quite strange, isn't it? Isn't it?
How could you dodge the question at a time like this? The chain and the door suddenly were no longer protecting me. How do you know? Why do you know? Answer me!
You bought them at 7th Mart, didn't you?
A shiver ran up my spine. I tried covering it up with an angry facade. Like I said, why do you know that?
I was behind you, following you the whole time.
What are you saying? I couldn't understand why she was saying she'd been following me all this time.
That's because Rena was right behind Keiichi-kun's back the whole time.
Like that night? That night I was absorbed in my phone conversation with Oishi-san. I didn't even sense her being there. Standing behind the door. Behind me, standing there. Just like that?
When Keiichi was picking out the noodles, I was watching the entire time. You picked out so many different flavors, didn't you? Then your mom got angry. If you were going to pick the expensive ones, then you should just pick one type, she said. Then Keiichi-kun picked out that big box of pork bone and ginger flavor that he loves so much, didn't he? I like it too. Pork bone noodles. But I can never eat a whole big bowl myself.
My brain was paralyzed, dulling my senses. It might have been a defense mechanism to diminish the fear I was feeling to non-traumatizing levels. With the fear being diminished, the fog enveloping my mind was cleared away. Then, I could understand what Rena was saying, and started to put meaning behind her words. Even so, my fear hadn't subsided completely. It was like I was standing at the edge of a cliff, eyes closed so I didn't have to look down. It didn't actually solve any of the basic problems. I slowly took a step backward. As I withdrew, Rena advanced.
So, Keiichi-kun, can you open this? We can eat dinner together. I'm sure it's going to be delicious, so, okay?
Rena's pale, slender fingers squirmed through the crack in the door one at a time, as if they had a mind of their own, rattling the chain. If she had unlatched the chain from the door, a feeling of terror would have just exploded within me. But Rena didn't do that. She was simply imploring me to remove the chain. I tried my hardest to light the fuse to the powder keg in my heart. Trying again and again. Clatter. Clatter. But it doesn't light. It doesn't light.
Open up? Keiichi-kun?
Please go away. I beg you. Please go away.
How can you say something so mean? I wonder.
Please, go away. Go away. Go away! The powder keg inside me finally went off. No smoldering. It just exploded. I tackled the door. The force through the door had knocked Rena momentarily off balance. I couldn't hesitate here. I grabbed onto the doorknob with both hands, planted my feet firmly, and pulled with all my might. But that slamming sound I so desired didn't happen. I could feel a tiny, disturbing bit of resistance keeping the door from closing, and the source of that was Rena's fingers. Each of those fingers wriggling, squirming around like the tendrils of a carnivorous plant through the crack in the doorway.
It hurts! It hurts, Keiichi-kun! It hurts!
It wasn't a harsh shriek, but more of a yelp she was trying to keep back. Go away, go away, go away. I kept on pulling on the door with all my might. I didn't even realize that if I didn't loosen my pull on the door at least momentarily, Rena wouldn't be able to pull her fingers out, and that's why the door wasn't closing.
It really hurts, Keiichi-kun! I'm sorry if I was messing around too much.
I didn't care one bit for her apology. No matter how much she apologized, it didn't change any of what she had done up until now. It didn't change anything.
It hurts! It hurts! I'm sorry! I'm sorry! I'm sorry!
Go away! Go away! Go away! Rena couldn't leave even if she wanted to because I'd trapped her fingers. Rena's white fingers had become deep red and were no longer even squirming.
I'm sorry! I'm sorry! I'm sorry!
Go away! Go away! Go away!
I'm sorry! I'm sorry! I'm sorry! I'm sorry!
Rena's apologies were occasionally twisted with pain, but like a broken record, she was intent on repeating it over and over. Go away. Go away. Go away. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. I pulled on the door even harder. Finally, Rena's fingers were somehow able to slip out from their imprisonment in the doorway. The moment that happened, the door closed soundly, and I could hear the thud of Rena falling on her butt on the other side. I locked the door immediately. It made a loud clunk, voicing my rejection to Rena.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Keiichi-kun, I'm sorry. Open up. Keiichi-kun.
Rena leaned against the door, apologizing profusely, and nothing else. After confirming that I was sufficiently sealed off from her, I trudged away from the entryway. On the other side, I could still hear Rena echoing her apology. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Those pitiful words, they would be forever seeking my forgiveness. I didn't feel bad about this at all, but that wasn't out of any sort of malice. I felt a sort of hazy sense of relief that I was able to escape from Rena. Before, Mion had threatened me at this doorway, saying there was nothing she didn't know. Just now, at the same place, Rena told me the same thing. My feeble attempts to disguise the fact that my parents weren't home had served no purpose from the start. I should have just pretended to be out, not even opened the door, My meager plans hadn't helped at all. In Hinamizawa, it was impossible to outwit them. Even though I was on the other side of the door, I wanted to get as far away from Rena as possible. 1 step, 2 steps. With each one, her sniveling apologies became more distant.